Hello and welcome back. This is part two of my presentation. I have covered some aspects of what I wanted to talk about. And now, what you may not know about Black culture is what I want to cover. I feel like we all know Rihanna, The Weeknd, Snoop Dogg, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley. We know Black music, we've heard of it. I'm not a cook and I'm not able to give you examples of soul food, which is Black food, or as it's referred to in American culture. Unfortunately, for me, I don't know how to cook, but I think it's important enough for you to know that that exists and that's a part of culture. I do intend to talk about hair and skin tone and how that plays a part into culture. Literature, I talk about Toni Morrison, which all of you should read. All of you should read her books. And they're so inspirational for people of all different ethnicities, not just Black. Cinema, we touched on that when we talked about the beautiful job that Nadia Dudal did with her presentation about Harriet Tubman and the actress who played her in the movie. I'm not a racist. I have Black friends. I'm not so sure how far we got on that in the first video I made. I'm going to go straight into it. Let's get into it. I'm not a racist. I have Black friends. I do not know which part of this I do not like because I don't like any of it. I don't I don't get why people think this is so cool to say. I'm not a racist. I have Black friends. Usually when people are saying I'm not a racist is because they've done something racist or they acted in a very inappropriate way culturally towards somebody that made the other person look at them like, oh my God, and they're feeling like they may have come off as racist. And then they come with this pearl of a sentence. I'm not a racist. I have Black friends. Okay, then. Um, Let me give you an example. So, in order to become an English teacher here in Norway, I had to have all of my diplomas from different countries recognized by NOKUT. NOKUT doesn't really like education from certain parts of the world. So, countries in South America, Asia, and Africa, if your diplomas come from those countries, they will be a lot stricter with you and even disregard parts of your education. That creates systemic racism. They're not trying to say, hey, you're Black, you can't work here. They're not saying that, but their policies make it so people that look like me don't don't get very far in life in Norway, or they may get very far, but it takes them a lot more trouble and heartache. But that's another story for a different day. So I got all my diplomas recognized to an extent. I may or may not talk about it, but anyway. But I had to do one very important course. And yes, you guessed it, I had to take a Norwegian course. And I love languages. I love languages. So I went in to learn Norwegian with an open heart and an open mind. And I went to Norwegian course with people from all over the world. Some people from European countries who were here studying Norwegian so they could work. Long story short, so I met this lady. I'm not going to say which country she's from, because I don't want you to somehow identify her, because that would not be cool. But she comes from a country that has a predominantly white population. So we became friends. She's a very nice person. I like her. I really do. Except for this thing that she did. So she makes a post on social media, and she posts this photo of us together from, I don't remember what kind of function it was, something at the Norwegian course. And she says the title of that post was, "I'm not a racist. I have black friends." And I'm like, pardon my language, what I'm going to say right now. I'm looking at this post and I'm like, bitch, I'm not your friend. No, if I'm the example of your black friends, you do not have black friends because I'm not your friend. I mean, I knew her. She was a nice lady. We had such good conversations, and I learned a lot about her country. Before I met her, I didn't even know her country existed. There's so many countries. I mean, you can't know them all. Unless you're a geography teacher, then you have to. I digress. So I could not believe she posted my picture for that. I hadn't seen her in like 6 years when she made that post. And then she wrote like a long text about something that somebody called her a racist. So I'm sorry, but when people have to come out and say, "I am not a racist, I have black friends," it's too late. They've already done something stupid that made them come off as racist. Granted, I do not think she's a racist. I think she's a nice person, but this whole thing, using me, an acquaintance of hers, to show people that she has black friends, that did not sit well with me. How about just not be a racist? Have your black friends. You don't have to advertise them, and learn how to talk to people from other cultures so that you don't come off as racist when you're not. And that's where banter etiquette for intercultural communication comes into place. What's etiquette, Pollyanna? What's banter? What's intercultural communication? Maybe some of you know what it is. Banter, also known as small talk, casual conversation, right? So I'm at the bus stop. I'm at the bus stop. I have so many stories like this. And this lady is like, she, I'm standing at the bus stop. She drives by in her car, rolls down the window, and like, "Hi," and starts talking to me like I know her. I don't remember what exactly she said, but then after like 45 seconds, she took a better look at me and she's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else," and she drove off. First of all, we are not the same, all of us who have black skin. Okay? We just are not. Just like not all Asian people are the same, not all white people are the same. We're all different. And unless you're my twin, don't be saying that you look like me. No, I mean, if you want to compare me to like a beautiful actress, I'm not going to be hating it. But seriously now, she she has black friends. She confused me with one of her black friends, right? But they're such good friends that she didn't know what her friend looked like. It was, I don't know. I feel like people go out of their way to not come off as racist and they end up coming off completely racist. So we're going to work on this today a little bit. It might be a complete failure and maybe nobody's going to learn anything from it, but at least it's out there. It's out there and people should If they don't want to think about it, at least I'm telling you all that you should at some point consider thinking about your intercultural communication skills. We have some people here in the building who are incredibly adroit at it. Adroit, Adroit. It means they are fantastic at it. They're very skillful. They're very competent at intercultural communication. And I'm talking about specifically now one person that gave me permission to talk about her. Her name is Thea Sophia. She is a Vega 2 student here. And she has told me about her experiences with people of color throughout the years, having foster brothers and sisters. And that has broadened her horizons so much that she can understand my point of view as a person of color because of these experiences that she has had throughout the years. So, listening to people will improve your skills in intercultural communication. So, I'm going to give you some. I do not know how much I'm going to succeed at this, but hey, I'm going to give it my best shot. So, etiquette. What's etiquette? Etiquette has something to do with how you conduct yourself. You walk into a room, and when people see you coming, do you want them to think, oh, now there comes that racist douchebag. Let's just go sit over there. Or do you want people to see, oh, that is, there comes Ule Peter. Come sit with us. He's so fun. So let's get into it so you can achieve that Ule Peter energy. So, what seems like a funny joke to you may be offensive in other cultures. So, people have a funny way of communicating through memes, communicating through jokes without giving it too much thought, right? There was a little kid, allegedly, this is hearsay. I had somebody who lives in this area, and by this area, I'm including all the way anywhere between Stjordal and Tydal, going through Selbu, allegedly, because this is something that was, a few people have told me this, but I don't know to what extent it's true. But if it is true, it is friggin' terrible. So during Halloween, this little kid paints their face black, goes to different houses trick or treating, and somebody asks, so what are you? What are you supposed to be? Like, well, what are you dressed as? And he's like, I'm an N word. And they thought it was funny. And the people that have told me this did not think it was funny. And they could completely see how it was the worst type of intercultural competence that you can ever see. So this person obviously had no intercultural communication skills because they do not know that the message they're communicating with doing blackface is completely inappropriate. Just don't do blackface. It's not funny. It's unacceptable, and it may make you come off as a racist. So what seems to be a funny joke may be offensive in other cultures. You may not be a racist, but your vocabulary may make you come off that way. So comparing if you're comparing black people to animals, if you're using the N word, even if you're the sweetest person in the universe, but you're exhibiting that behavior, you're just coming off to the world as a racist. And it's not just about what people think of you, but it's about your job opportunities. People are losing job opportunities because of things that they post on social media, racist memes, racist jokes, racist statements, all of that. It is not covered under freedom of speech, not in the United States, not in Norway either. I checked. I read the entire document of guidelines for freedom of expression and action in Norway, what you can post on social media, how you have to conduct yourself. Calling somebody the N word is not protected under free speech. It is hateful. And there's no use for you to say that. If you're mad at your black friend because he used your bike and he broke it, call him a jerk. Don't call him anything bad. Try to work it out. Say, hey man, you have to pay me back for this now. Do not need to call him the N word or compare him to a monkey. Even if they say to you that they don't care, it's just still not it's not decent behavior at all. And listen, I'm not saying that everyone feels the same way about the N word or about racial slurs in general. I had a young man, I'm not going to name him because I'm just not going to name him. And he said to me, you know what, Pollyanna, I want to talk about being a person of color in Norway. I'll tell you, I've been called the N word. I've been compared to a monkey. I've been called so many things, and I really don't care. Okay, fair enough. And I love that journey for this young man who is very articulate, very intelligent, and he's laying the house down boots in every aspect of life right now. But by allowing people to call you those names and not calling them out on the fact that it's wrong is absolutely making this world a worse place for people who do feel strongly about it. For everybody, we should be nicer to each other. We should treat each other with more respect than that. Not every black person comes from Africa. How is that offensive, Pollyanna? What are you talking about? Listen, Exhibit A, blacker than the blackest person you've ever seen in the world. I've never been to Africa, to any country in Africa in my life. I don't come from there. I don't come from the stereotypical countries where you would find black people, for instance. I don't come from Jamaica. I don't come from anywhere in the Caribbean or Aruba or Antigua or Barbados. So don't try to guess somebody's ethnicity. Don't go around saying to people, oh my God, I know somebody who's also from Eritrea. I am not from Eritrea. What are you talking about? So don't try to guess somebody's ethnicity. If you want to know where somebody's from, ask them. Oh, so where are you from? I just get the heebie jeebies just thinking about how stupid people can be sometimes. And ignorance is okay because you're acting that way because you don't know any better. You can learn, right? We can fix that. If you're not friends with a black person, now we're getting into hair. It is not okay to touch their hair or ask intrusive questions about it, much less to make jokes about their hair. So, black women, I'm going to say, I don't have the statistics to back this up, but I have the lived experience. I am 52 years old. I've lived in Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Norway, the USA. I have visited Argentina and Peru. I've been to Denmark. I've been to Sweden a whole bunch of times. I've been to Germany. And I've met black people in these places. Let me tell you something. It is not okay to grab someone's hair and say, oh, what is this? Is this your real hair? That's not okay. And also, let me show you something. Now, there's so much I need to say that I'm probably not going to get to say. You look at me one day when I'm wearing hair extensions and you say to me, your hair looks so nice today. What did you do? That is not my hair. That is a set of very expensive Rapunzel hair extensions. They did not pay me to advertise their product, but they have pretty good hair extensions. This is my real hair, though. This here. So this is my real hair. If I'm walking, I mean, it's not straight. I straightened it with a flat iron, but it's my real hair is coming from the scalp. My scalp is my real hair. So if you say to me, "Oh, your hair looks nice today," I'll be like, "Thank you," and I'll be happy about it. But when people compliment my hair extensions, I'm like, "Gosh darn it. This is not even my hair." I don't say that. I might just say thank you and smile and nod and go. But I'm not the only person who thinks this. It's just not a compliment. It really isn't. So there's so much I have to say. I'm not going to be able to cover everything, but I will leave the PowerPoint and I'll be available for people to ask me questions. Every other Thursday, I have about an hour and a half hiatus between classes, between 2:15 and no, between 12:30 and 2:15. I'm available. I'm in my office. Give me a shout out. I'll I'll come talk to you and tell you what you need to know if I can answer your questions. So if you're not friends with a person or very close with them, don't touch their hair. And if it's hair extensions, you don't want to pull on it and say, "Hey, is this your real hair?" No, don't do that. Comparing black people to animals is never okay. In some countries, it may be as bad as using a racial slur. As a matter of fact, in Norway, might not be the case, but in Brazil, if you call somebody a racial slur, you can go to jail for that. It is a crime, and you can't bond yourself out. You have to get a lawyer and go to court. It is not fantastic. This is something that I kind of addressed a few minutes ago. I want to get into it a little bit more. You see a black person who was born in Norway, they speak Norwegian with a perfect accent of the person that has lived here their whole lives. Don't ask them, where are you really from? They were born in Norway, they're from here, they identify with the culture, they speak Norwegian. Maybe their parents came here from Eritrea, from Somalia, from Ethiopia, but they're Norwegian. So you should not be digging into somebody's life. So, but where are you really from? I mean, really, it may be offensive. Time is running out. I have a few things I want to say. Let's talk about ethnicity, identity, world perspective, colorism, tokenism, universal republic. She's not really black, she's mixed. You can be black and mixed. I'm going to use myself as an example, and I'm going to show you what my ethnicity is. And I know you're saying, what do you mean what your ethnicity is? You're black. Yes, yes, of course I'm black. But let's take a look at my ethnicity map. When I pull out my ethnicity map, I had a DNA test taken a few years back. This is legit, very accurate. Other people in my family had it done, and it's very neat. So, of course, I knew I was going to be black as fuck, right? I knew that. I knew I was going to be African. So I started looking at it and I am like, yeah, Nigerian, Kenyan, North African, West African. Cool. I knew that. And then here's the surprise. I'm actually 15% Balkan. I'm 15% Italian, Greek and South Italian, Scandinavian, mind you, indigenous Brazilian. So all of all of the mix of different ethnicities that I have in me, it's still what you will see is that I'm black, and I'm proud of it. I'm okay with it, but it doesn't matter whatever anyone tells you. You are who you are. I'm not at all ashamed of being black, but I am also mixed with a lot of different things. My grandpa was from Poland. So you never know somebody's ethnicity just by looking at them. Ethnicity is your DNA, the blueprint of your biology. Your identity is how you identify. So I identify as black. I don't make it a point to tell every single person I meet all of my DNA, where all of my DNA comes from. I identify as black. Some people don't though. Some people are like, no, I'm not really black. I am mixed, and that's all they say. I am fine with it. World perspective. How does the world see a black person? Depending on where you go, you will be better or worse off. So I feel in Norway I am perceived negatively, and it's sometimes very difficult for me to even go to a store because I know they're going to stop me and open my bag to see if I stole something. And people look at me and they're like, "Oh, look at that, another African person who's here on social welfare taking money from the government," and they don't even know my story, how I got here. Colorism. Colorism is racism's ugly cousin, if you will. Colorism is part of, unfortunately, part of black communities to where, oh, she's light skinned, so she's better. And in other instances, the lighter your skin, the better people treat you, the better jobs you will get. So colorism is horrible. Tokenism. Have you ever seen like an ad and you have 10 people and one of them is black? The token black person. They just threw that person in there just to make sure, yeah, let's just put a black person in there so they can't say that we're racist. So tokenism is a thing. And I have benefited from that before in modeling. When I did a shampoo commercial, I was a token black girl, and it was fun, it was exciting. But tokenism is still not good. There should be more diversity than just throwing one black person in there just because you have to. The universal republic. This is what we want for the world. We want the world to be one. We want the world to be one place where everyone is equally valued. And my message to you all today, I know I don't have a lot more time to talk, so I'm going to wrap this up with the Universal Republic concept. Right now, I felt the need, and other Black people feel the need to celebrate Black history because we are not as celebrated as our white counterparts. But there should be a world in which all of us are celebrated, where Black history is white history, where Latino History Month is also White History Month, that we have a universal republic where we're all equal because we all matter in this world. Happy Black History Month. Thanks for listening to me.